Hi guys, welcome to this video. My name is Wilfred and I go by the name Wilfred The Analyst in my YouTube channel. And in today's video, we are going to run on how to do binary unitary test in Stata. But before that, allow me to say this thing. Before we dive into today's content, I want to make it clear that this video is created purely for training and educational purposes. So therefore, any actions you take based on this content are at your own risk. Please consult with me for specific guidance related to your situation or problem. So what do I mean by this? By profession, I'm a data analyst and a statistician. So I've helped a number of clients, and especially on data analysis. Maybe if you have a project, you're doing a research and you have difficulties, especially on data analysis, then I got your back. So the only thing you need to do is just contact me via email, and I'll be able to reply immediately and help where I can. So specifically for data analysis reporting, I also offer one-on-one trainings through Zoom. So I have all those services, also consulting services. Those are some of the services I do offer: data collection, dashboard creation, data visualization, and so many. So for more information, just contact me via email and we'll discuss more if you have any problem. Okay, welcome. Now, if you can see on my screen, I have a data set here. As you can be able to see, the source of this data set actually is from World Bank. So you can be able to see this World Development Indicator, and I have a number of variables here, including GDP growth. We have foreign direct investment. We have inflation, which is consumer prices, into bracket annual percentage, measured in annual percentage. Once you have this kind of data, let us say now we want to do some of some advanced models, like what you call BVR, banner vector auto-regression models. But before you do that, there are some of what we call pretests that you need to take, or you need to carry out to ensure that your data is appropriate for those advanced models. One of that tests is what we call a binary unitary test, and actually this is a challenge to many people because it is difficult for them, especially on binary data analysis, to carry it out. So now in this video, watch till the end, because if you have this kind of challenge, now I think through this video you'll be able to solve that problem. The first thing you need to do is to import this data to Stata, this is the original data. And now if I go to my Stata, you'll be able to see my do file, which is well organized. You can be able to see here the name of the data is actually panel data, and I think you can be able to watch some of my videos on how to import the data. Then it was followed by the ID. Remember, when you are doing binary data analysis, there are two things that you need to have in your data. Number one, key things. Number one is the period. It can be either report as time, year, period, and so on. The number two, we have the ID. So remember, in binary data, maybe you have more than one content or item. So, and in this, they are being identified by a unique identifier. We normally call it, maybe in a database, it's normally referred to as a primary key. So we need to have an ID. So if you are keen, even when you download any data from World Bank, actually it is a free source. So I think even at your own time, you can go to that site and you'll be able to see on how to download this kind of data. You realize once you download the data, this is how the data comes out. Like, So you can be able to see the country name, the country, time, time code. Now these are the variables. So you can see we don't have ID at this point. So the first thing before you do anything now is for you to create this ID variable. So it is easy to do that. So what you do, just use a just generate ID. You're going to give a name, then group by. Now we have the country name. So this is the variable that we have from the original data. If you're a keen, you'll be able to see the country name here. So you can either use country code or the country name. So it will just give you or it will identify the data uniquely. So once you do that, I'll be able to just highlight these codes and execute. So if you execute immediately, you'll be able to see that we have the data here. Now we have the ID. ID is being added to this data, and you can see, like for instance, the first country actually, which is Algeria. Now it's being identified by ID number 1. So you can move, like the data is from 1973 to 2022, so you can go all the way to 2022. So that is 2010, 19, 22 up to this point. You're going to be able to see now this country, Algeria, from 1972 to 2022 is being identified by 1, the ID. Now if we move to the next country, which is Austria, so the same from 1973 to 2022, it's being identified by the ID number 2. So that's how you include the ID to your data, especially the binary data. If you don't have the ID, it's not present maybe in the data. Once you do that, that's the first challenge maybe you have solved. Now the second one is what we normally call the okay, let us assume we want to just go direct to binary unitary test. So what you do, just go to statistics, then go to what? To longitudinal binary data, then go to set up utilities and declare data binary. So this is the first step. So you just click there. Then for the binary ID, just select the ID, and the time variable is just select time, and it is in yearly. Just ensure to indicate yearly. Then press OK. So once you do that, you have this kind of message. I think it's a good luck that now at this point we have what we call strongly balanced data. Otherwise, if it is unbalanced, then we could have undergone maybe other steps, maybe to convert the data from unbalanced to balanced. Like the idea is, when you do the binary data analysis, your data has to be strongly balanced, because there are some of the tests that require that. Now I'll go direct to unitary test. So go to statistics, I go to longitudinal binary data, then I'll go to unitary tests. You can then I just click that. Then there are so many type of tests you can use. You have visa type, IM based machine. You can be able to see them here. But the common one, which is commonly used, is this one, Levin. Then I select my variable, it's GDP growth annual. Then I include the time trend. Then I press OK. Perfect. Now you'll be able to see this error. Maybe you have encountered it before, and you wonder how to fix this error. And this is the reason as to why I just created this this video. So what you do, like in this case, you can see the error. Revenue test requires strongly balanced data, and you may wonder from the above here, when we declared the data as binary data, the data was clearly strongly balanced. And you may wonder, then why do we have this kind of error yet our data is strongly balanced? So the answer is just simple. The answer to this is that still we have what we call missing data in this data. and that's the reason as to why we are getting this kind of error. So if I just click mdesk, which I think I've done this before in my previous videos, I'll be able to see that these variables clearly they have missing data. So you can see the total is 700, but still we have 94, 64, 73 missing data in this case. Then this is the reason as to why now we are getting this kind of error above here. And now what's the solution to this? The solution now is to fix this kind of missing data. And another thing that you need to be careful is how to handle this kind of missing data. I think this thing requires much more. Like you don't, okay, I have videos on maybe multiple computation, a lot of videos which maybe you can follow step by step, but before you maybe apply any methodology or any method, you need to understand first, like maybe the assumptions, the advantages and disadvantages of that kind of methodology that you want to do what that you want to apply. Like for in this case, someone can just come up with maybe multiple computation using the MVN, which is, I think it's this there in my previous videos in my channel. Still, you can just look at it, and someone can decide even to use mean imputation, or I mean mean substitution, so that like you find the mean substitution. This is how it works. For instance, this GDP, I can decide to find the mean. Like for instance, if I go to this and they say sum, now you can be able to see for the GDP the mean is 3.516 to 3 decimal places. Then if I'm going to use the mean substitution for all these three variables, then each and every variable will be substituted by the mean given here. For instance, GDP will be substituted with all missing values will be substituted with 3.516. Then for foreign direct investment will be replaced with the 2.505, and the inflation rate will be replaced by 10.967 or 8968. But this will be wrongly done because there are assumptions and the advantages and disadvantages of mean substitution. So like for n time series data or n if you have panel data and all time series data, then it means in that kind of data of yours is either you must have time variable. Then if you have time variable, then there's no need for you to apply maybe multiple computation using MVN, maybe mean substitution, and so many methods under multiple computation. So then at that point, if you have time variable in your data, then linear interpolation, which is part of multiple computation, is the most appropriate method. So you can be able to see even under statistics. If you go to statistics, still we have longitudinal data, then we have time series data. So you need to be careful. So you like set up utility for time series, you follow the same procedure. I can actually go to time series. You maybe go to declare data time series, maybe time variable, and you can just say panel ID, maybe say ERE, and you just press OK. So you'll be able to have the same thing, but there will be a difference at this, because you can see this is TS set, time series set. But for binary data, which is the right thing, is being presented by XT set. So you need to be careful, otherwise you could have maybe at some point you may mess up with your work or with your analysis. Okay, let me go back to where I was. So I want to solve that the issue that we just encountered, that error up there. So I just go back this, declare this, and place okay. Yeah, just like that. It's the right set, not this one. Then now if I go to my do file, so I have the linear interpolation method. So this is actually the appropriate method to apply on your time series or binary data and actually, but you need to take your time to run more. Like, what are the assumptions for this methodology, what are the advantages, and what are the disadvantages. So the first thing I'm going to do is to rename this time to year. Like, if you see in my data, I have time variable here, so I want to rename this from time to year. So in Stata, I will just say rename time to year, and now if I execute this like that, I press OK, you'll be able to see now the code is here, and this one has been renamed from time to year. Then now I execute the codes for the linear interpolation. But before that, I need to explain what is going to happen. Like, for instance, we have three variables, so it means we are going to generate three new variables. So we are not going to mix the things with the original variables, no. So we are going to generate the new variables, then we are going to make use of the ID and the year, or the time variable. In this case, the year, we have renamed it from time to year, so we are going to make use of them. Like, for instance, the first code, like code number 18 for the GDP growth, you can see I'm saying that I operate GDP growth. This is the original variable name, GDP growth annual, which you can see here at this point. So I operating so I operate GDP growth annual, then year. So I'm pressing so this at this point, just press or replace it with your time variable if it is written as period, time, year, and so on. So just replace at this point, comma, then generate. So we are generating a new variable by the name GDP underscore GR, which is GDP growth, then operate by ID, which is so important. Otherwise, you may end up messing with everything. Then you report the variable GDP, so it's just all about reporting GDP growth by into bracket annual percent. Then in format. Now this percent 9.3. Now I'm instructing Stata to format this new variable to 3 decimal places. So this 9.3 is actually to 3 decimal places. And if you can look at the original data, actually it's more than 3 decimal places. And now you can be able to see we don't have those new variables here. So allow me to just highlight these 3 codes just like this up to this point for inflation, FDI, and I execute just like that. This is inflation. Okay, now you can be able to see now I have the 3 variables. These are variables which have undergone the linear interpolation method. For instance, and another thing you can confirm is that, for instance, the original GDP actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's at 6 decimal places. Then, but for this one, I converted them to 3 decimal places. So you can see even here, format original was just 00. Like, now this one we have 9.3 for the format there. So everything is now 3 decimal places. And if you are keen, this methodology actually maintains the values. Like, for instance, 3.813, 3.813, 7495, 7495, 5.045, 5.045. Now, if you scroll down, if I scroll down to this point, I'm looking a section where we have missing data here. Now, if you are keen at this point, for the GDP, actually the last value before the missing is 2.731, which you can see here. Then now this missing data, you can see how they are being replaced. You can see negative 11.986, negative 11.521, negative 11.058, negative 10.592, negative 10.127, and so on. So you'll be able to see like what is being interpreted actually is within the range, because now it keeps the trend. Like you cannot get something like maybe 1 million, 1,000. No, it's just within the range, and you can be able to see everything now here has been filled with the linear interpolation. You can be able to see here everything is filled up, so we don't have any missing value for what, for the three generated variables. So at this point, if I go back, then I do the binary unitary test. I just go to statistics, longitudinal, then unitary test, then the same. Then now this time I'll use GDP, and I press OK. So at this point I'll be able to get the output. Perfect. So look at this. We have the output for this, but the initial one, if you remember, the initial one actually here, it gave us what? This error, which we have just fixed it by that linear interpolation method. And now at this point we have our Stata, and this is what we wanted to do. Then I go the same way, go to longitudinal panel data, go to unitary test, then this point select FDI, then press OK. Then the last one, I'll go to statistics, go to longitudinal, unitary test, and now select inflation, like that. Perfect. Now if I go back to this, now this is what we call the panel unitary test. It is so important because we cannot do maybe advanced models using non-stationary data. Actually, this one just tells us, for instance, you can see the H note or the null hypothesis. It tells you that the panel contains unit root. So this into bracket actually like it's like to say the data is non-stationary. Then the panels are stationary. So it means for any subsequent analysis or the advanced model like BVAR, now then at this point we need to ensure that our data is stationary. And now you can be able to see for the variable GDP growth and the foreign direct investment, actually they are stationary, but for inflation rate actually is non-stationary. So where do you look at? Just look at the B value and the adjusted D. So if you look at the GDP at this point like this, the B value is significant. Then if it is significant, so it means it is less than 0.05, maybe let us say 0.05, if that is our threshold significance level. Then at this point we are confident to say that at 5% level of significance we reject the null hypothesis, and the null hypothesis says that the bundles contains unit root. So if we reject that, then we accept the alternative which says that the data is or the bundles are stationary. The same way happens to foreign direct investment. So the B value is statistically significant. Then at this point we reject the null and accept the alternative which says the bundles are stationary. However, for inflation, you can see the B value actually is non-significant because it's more than maybe 5% threshold. Then at this age, at this state, or at this scenario, we conclude that the data is non-stationary or it contains a unit root. Then now, what will you do at this stage if the data is non-stationary? Then you have to convert that data to stationary either by logarithmic using the logarithm or first differencing or the second differencing. You can move from first to second difference, but more than second differencing, then you cannot go above beyond that, beyond second differencing. If you have a data that is forcing you to go beyond second differencing, then it means you have to go back and reject your data, so your data has a problem. Now around me, just do the fast differencing. So what I can do is now to generate, can just generate now this is inf. So generate inf underscore diff. Now this one is just the difference, now is equals to d multiply what, inf, the original variable. Now so if we do that, just do that like that, I just enter, then you can see 14 missing values generated. Now what it means by fast differencing, actually what we have done is fast differencing. And maybe you may wonder, why is it that I'm generating missing values again? No, these are not actually the like the missing value. So it means now in our data we have 14 time variables, like we can say we have 14 countries, like now since this is a binary data, you can be able to see in each and every country. Let us say for instance Algeria. So if you look at Algeria for the INF, so this is the first differencing, then it means the first observation will be empty. So that's why you can see Algeria at this point it's empty. Then RS is missing because it has been removed due to this first differencing thing. Then if I move to the second country, let us say Austria, at this era, at this age, at this point you can see it is missing because it has been removed. So like this first differencing, it is being done in each and every ID. So since we have 14 countries represented by 14 ID keys, then each and every ID will will have a one missing value. So that's why we have these 14 missing values. Now right now if I go back and do statistics, go to go to longitudinal unit root test, then this time I use the first differencing, you realize now everything will change to stationary. Perfect. Now look at this. So this is the inflation rate, and now you can see the p-value is perfectly significant compared to the previous one, which was non-significant. So it's at this point now we can say that this data, we can reject the null hypothesis and say that the binary are stationary. So we can now conclude that for the GDP and the foreign direct investment, the two variables, they are stationary at their REFO form. We normally call it, let me just put the REFO form. So they are just stationary at the REFO form. However, INF, we found out that it was non-stationary at the first at this REFO form, but it was changed to stationary at the first differencing. We just call it just like that, first differencing. Perfect. So that's it. Up to this point, I think you have learned some clues on how to do what, to test, to do the binary unity test, how to also do the first differencing if you encounter an stationarity, how to ensure that your data is stationary, and at the same time I have done an overview on the linear interpolation method and how to generate an ID and so many things. So I think you have enjoyed up to this point, and if you have anything, if you need any consulting, if you have any problem with maybe your search data analysis, I'm free. So just reach me via the email and via my email, and I reply immediately, and we get in touch and solve that problem that you have. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you are new to this channel, kindly consider to subscribe. Bye. See you next time.